She didn't even cough to warn me. Asterisk, asterisk. My mother simply slid the embossed folder across the mahogany table and said, "It's time Evelyn steps up." Evelyn. My younger sister. Home from Los Angeles for exactly 9 days. I'd been keeping my parents alive and the business breathing for 12 years. My father's eyes never left Evelyn's face. My mother's small, approving smile was a gunshot in slow motion. I didn't flinch. I set the master keys and the durable power of attorney beside my untouched wineglass. The metal rang like a judge's gavel. They thought I was yielding. They had no idea I'd already left the room months ago. I grew up in corridors that smelled of bleach and lilac. Dad strode ahead in his white coat, charming families, shaking hands with regulators, calling every resident sweetheart. I followed, 8 years old, steering a wheelchair that came up to my chest, arms shaking from the weight. Watch the corners, Nora, he'd toss over his shoulder, already smiling at someone who mattered more. Evelyn never pushed anything heavier than a selfie stick. She got the spotlight, the acting classes, the gap year URail pass. I got the payroll, the state audits, the 3 a.m. calls when a resident coded. Nora's so responsible, they bragged to strangers, as if responsibility was a talent I was born with instead of a sentence carved into me. My 21st birthday was a store-bought carrot cake left on the break room table with a plastic fork. Evelyn's 19th had string lights, a DJ, and 300 Instagram stories. I ate my slice alone while reconciling the medication log. I stopped expecting anything after that. Wanting felt like bleeding in shark-infested water. When Dad's kidneys failed and Mom's memory started slipping, guess who they handed the empire to? Not the daughter they'd poured money and dreams into. Me. Quiet, dependable Nora. I signed the power of attorney in a hallway that smelled like burnt coffee and fear. Mom patted my hand. You were always the strong one. Translation: you were always the disposable one. Years rolled by. I rebuilt the company from the bones up, new software, airtight compliance, partnerships with every major hospital in Georgia. Evelyn flitted in and out of the city, posting sun-kissed photos with captions about coming home soon to give back. Then one Tuesday the group chat lit up with a save the date, celebrating the next chapter of Willow Haven Homes, led by visionary Evelyn Hart. My name wasn't mentioned. Not once. That night I found a leather binder on Dad's desk. Evelyn's 5-year plan written in purple ink. The numbers were fantasy. The timelines were jokes. Dad had already initialed every page. I didn't cry. I opened a new file on my laptop instead. For weeks I worked in the dark, after shifts, after everyone was asleep. With the same power of attorney they'd forgotten still existed, I quietly moved every intangible asset, the care protocols I wrote, the training curriculum, the data system, the licensing agreements, into an irrevocable nonprofit trust. Willow Bridge Trust. My attorneys called it elegant. I called it oxygen. I gave my parents ceremonial founder emeritus titles. They signed without reading, grateful for the pretty certificates. Evelyn practiced her acceptance speech in the mirror. The gala was held in the garden courtyard, fairy lights glittering like lies. Dad raised a glass. To Evelyn, our future. Applause swelled. Cameras flashed. I waited until the exact second the noise crested, then stood. I placed 3 things on the linen tablecloth: the facility master keys, the original power of attorney, and a crimson envelope addressed to my sister. The keys chimed like a death knell. Dad chuckled nervously. Nora, honey, sit down. This is Evelyn's night. I smiled the way people do when the hard part is already over. Everything you're celebrating is in that envelope, I said. Evelyn tore it open, confident, radiant. The smile died halfway down page 1. By page 3 her hands were shaking so hard the paper rattled. This says we only own the buildings. The mortgages. The debt. Her voice cracked. Where's the operating authority? The licenses. My trust's attorney rose from a shadowed table near the roses. Willow Bridge Trust hold those now, he said calmly. Signed, notarized, and filed 2 years ago, while Miss Nora Hart acted as lawful guardian. Your parents' signatures are on every transfer. Mom reached for the documents like they might bite her. Dad aged 10 years in 10 seconds. Evelyn looked at me, mascara smudging. You stole it. No, I said. I protected it. From you. Dead silence. Even the string quartet stopped mid-note. I picked up my clutch. The residents will keep the care they deserve. The staff will keep their jobs. And you three get exactly what you always wanted, a pretty story with no substance behind it. I walked out through the garden gate. No one followed. 6 months later, I watched from across the street as the bank padlocked the original facility. Evelyn was inside somewhere, learning how to change adult briefs and beg Medicaid for extensions. Mom and Dad sold their house to cover legal fees. I didn't gloat. I just drove to the new Willow Bridge campus, bright, solvent, mine in every way that matters, and unlocked the door with my own set of keys. Some people need fireworks to feel revenge. I prefer the quiet click of a lock that no one else can open anymore.